The Renaissance, a period of unparalleled artistic, intellectual, and cultural rebirth that fundamentally reshaped Europe. At its very heart, the Vatican stood as an undeniable force. But was the Holy See merely a benevolent patron, generously fostering genius, or did its influence extend far deeper, wielding art as a calculated instrument of power, political assertion, and the deliberate crafting of history itself? Today, we embark on a profound historical analysis. We will explore the Vatican's complex and often contradictory role in the Renaissance, where sacred devotion and secular ambition intertwined to produce some of humanity's most enduring masterpieces. Prepare to question the motives behind beauty and the power embedded within faith. The 14th to 17th centuries witnessed Europe's dramatic awakening, a vibrant period marked by revolutionary ideas in art, science, and philosophy. Italy, with its rich classical heritage and burgeoning city-states, became the undisputed epicenter of this cultural rebirth. The Catholic Church, particularly the papacy in Rome, held immense sway over this transformative era. Emerging from the perceived Dark Ages, scholars rediscovered ancient Greek and Roman texts, sparking a renewed interest in classical humanism. This intellectual movement placed human potential and achievement at its core, subtly shifting focus from purely theological concerns. The Church, as the wealthiest and most powerful institution, found itself at a crossroads. Popes and cardinals, often from powerful Italian families like the Medici, recognized the immense potential of this cultural ferment. They began to commission works that reflected both profound spiritual devotion and undeniable worldly prestige. This era saw a skillful, often seamless, blending of faith with culture and religious mission with political ambition. The Vatican was not a passive observer of the Renaissance, it was an active, strategic participant. Through its vast resources and spiritual authority, it profoundly shaped and directed this cultural revolution, ensuring its own central place within the unfolding narrative of European civilization. This period laid the groundwork for the Church's enduring cultural legacy. The early 16th century saw the papacy reach an apex of cultural influence, with figures like Pope Julius II (1503–1513) and Pope Leo X (1513–1521) becoming legendary patrons. Julius II, famously known as the Warrior Pope, was a formidable military and political leader, yet he possessed an equally grand vision for the arts. He famously commissioned Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling, a monumental task initially met with the artist's reluctance. This era also saw Raphael create his breathtaking frescoes in the Vatican's Stanze della Segnatura, including the iconic School of Athens. These works, alongside Botticelli's earlier contributions to the Sistine Chapel walls, transformed the Vatican into an unparalleled gallery of human genius. The construction of the new St. Peter's Basilica, initiated by Julius II and continuing for over a century, became the ultimate architectural symbol of papal ambition. But this patronage was far more than mere generosity or spiritual devotion. It was a calculated strategy. Art served as a powerful medium to display papal power, inspire religious awe, and even intimidate political rivals. These magnificent commissions were designed to leave a lasting legacy, cementing papal authority and Rome's spiritual supremacy for centuries to come. The lavish papal courts, filled with artists, musicians, and intellectuals, became centers of cultural production. Massive financial resources flowed into these artistic endeavors, with artists fiercely competing for papal favor and prestigious commissions. This system created an environment where genius flourished, but also where art became inextricably linked to the projection of power. Under the Vatican, Renaissance art transcended purely spiritual expression. It became a sophisticated instrument of political influence. Every sculpture, fresco, and grand architectural project served to showcase the Church's authority to both its faithful flock and rival states across Europe. Papal portraits, for instance, were not just likenesses but powerful assertions of divine right and temporal sovereignty. The colossal scale of St. Peter's Basilica was a deliberate statement, asserting Rome's supremacy over other Christian centers and rival Italian city-states. Vatican frescoes often depicted the Church's triumph over heresy and its enemies, visually reinforcing its theological and political dominance. Even religious processions and papal ceremonies were meticulously designed for maximum visual impact, impressing both local citizens and foreign dignitaries. Diplomatic meetings held within the ornately decorated Vatican rooms were intended to awe and impress foreign ambassadors, subtly conveying the papacy's immense wealth and power. The Papal States, a significant territorial holding in central Italy, were defended and expanded through military campaigns, often led by popes like Julius II. This demonstrated the papacy's dual role as both spiritual leader and temporal ruler. The rivalry between the papacy and European monarchs was constant, with art often serving as a silent yet potent weapon in this struggle for influence. The grandeur of the Vatican was designed to intimidate visitors, asserting its dominance not just spiritually, but politically. Every artistic choice, from the smallest detail to the grandest design, reflected a careful political strategy alongside its spiritual meaning. The immense scale of Renaissance building projects and artistic commissions inevitably sparked significant controversy. Critics, both contemporary and historical, questioned the lavish spending on art when widespread poverty afflicted the populace. The use of gold leaf and precious materials in church decoration seemed to mock the struggles of ordinary people. The sale of indulgences, a practice where the Church offered remission of temporal punishment for sins in exchange for monetary contributions, became a primary funding mechanism for projects like St. Peter's Basilica. This practice, however, ignited the fury of figures like Martin Luther, whose 95 Theses in 1517 directly challenged the Church's financial practices and theological justifications. Protestant reformers vehemently criticized papal excess and worldliness, seeing it as a betrayal of Christian principles. Satirical images and pamphlets circulated widely, attacking Vatican corruption and the perceived moral failings of the popes. Debates raged among Catholic officials themselves regarding the appropriate allocation of resources. Some clergy questioned whether the art truly served God or merely inflated papal ego and prestige. Yet, defenders of papal patronage argued that these projects inspired faith, elevated human creativity, and created lasting treasures that continue to draw millions to spiritual reflection. They contended that beautiful worship spaces glorified God and provided a tangible expression of divine majesty. This enduring debate highlights the tension between immediate social needs and the creation of lasting cultural heritage, a tension that defined much of the Renaissance papacy. Regardless of the complex motivations behind its patronage, the Vatican's role in the Renaissance profoundly shaped Western art, architecture, and culture in ways that resonate to this day. Works like the Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Basilica, and the vast collections of the Vatican museums remain powerful symbols of both unwavering faith and unparalleled artistic brilliance. They stand as monumental testaments to how religion and culture can intersect to leave an indelible mark on human history. Millions of visitors annually gaze upward in wonder at Michelangelo's Sistine ceiling, a testament to its enduring power. St. Peter's Basilica remains one of the world's most visited religious sites, its dome a global icon. Art historians and scholars continue to dedicate their lives to studying these Renaissance masterpieces, uncovering new insights into their creation and meaning. Restoration projects meticulously preserve these 500-year-old frescoes, ensuring their survival for future generations. The influence of Vatican Renaissance art on subsequent Western artistic traditions, particularly the Baroque period, is undeniable. The architectural styles pioneered in Rome, such as the Dome of St. Peter's, have been emulated worldwide. The Renaissance popes invested in more than just buildings and paintings. They invested in a cultural legacy, that has paid immense dividends for 5 centuries. This legacy has made the Vatican synonymous with artistic achievement, fostering cultural diplomacy through art exhibitions and bridging religious and secular worlds. These artworks embody a universal human appreciation for beauty, transcending their original religious context. The Renaissance offers us a crucial, thought-provoking lesson. Influence and art are often deeply intertwined, sometimes in uncomfortable and ethically ambiguous ways. The Vatican's story demonstrates that faith can inspire extraordinary creativity and profound beauty, but it can also be a potent force for wielding significant cultural and political power. Understanding this complex balance allows us to view history in a richer, more nuanced light. This historical analysis challenges us to ask difficult, enduring questions. When does genuine patronage transition into calculated propaganda? Can something be simultaneously spiritually meaningful and politically strategic? How do we, as modern observers, judge powerful institutions that create breathtaking beauty while simultaneously wielding immense influence and wealth? These Renaissance questions about the interplay of power, wealth, and spiritual authenticity remain surprisingly relevant in our contemporary world. We see parallels in how institutions today use culture for influence, how modern arts funding operates, and how religious organizations balance their mission with their public image. The Vatican's Renaissance legacy compels us to critically examine the motivations behind cultural production, both then and now. So, dear viewers, was the Vatican primarily a benevolent patron of art and culture, or fundamentally a seat of power using beauty as a political tool? Or perhaps was it both simultaneously, a complex entity navigating the turbulent waters of a changing world? Comment below with your thoughts and insights. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Scholar's Ledger for more deep dives into history, faith, and culture. Let's continue to explore the profound questions that shape our understanding of the past and present.